Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm ExxotikGaming. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Project BloodStrike versus Combat Master Mobile. Both of these games are some of the best games mobile gaming has to offer right now in early to mid 2023, and a lot of people like to say Project BloodStrike is better. A lot of people like to say Combat Master is better. I don't really know, honestly, between the two, and I would love if you guys could give your opinions. Comment down below which game you would rather play out of the two. Since I don't really have a solid answer myself, in today's video, what I thought I would do is play both of these games. I have some gameplay that I recorded over the past day or so, about 20 minutes of gameplay, might I add, so it's going to be a bit of a long video. Sit back, relax, get a snack, whatever, and hopefully after this video is complete, after we see some of the best gameplay that I can get in Project BloodStrike and Combat Master, then we might have a better understanding of which areas each of these games shine in. And then we can maybe have a more solid answer of which game is better. Now, before I get any further in this video, as we're going to be looking at gameplay of Project BloodStrike and Combat Master, I do want to say we're in a bit of a dilemma here. I am going on a trip from March 9th to March 27th, and this video is being recorded on March 2nd. Okay, it's being recorded about 10 days before it's being posted, and there is a potential that Combat Master Battle Royale will come out around March 14th or so. I'm hoping it's not going to come out that soon because literally like a couple of days from now, that means this video is going to be obsolete, and people are going to want to see a comparison between Combat Master Battle Royale and Project BloodStrike Battle Royale. I obviously can't do that because on March 2nd, there is no Combat Master Battle Royale yet, but in the case that Combat Master Battle Royale comes out in a couple of days, then do expect I will be doing a updated comparison after March 27th, comparing both Battle Royale modes, because that just makes sense, right? You would want to do a comparison between the two game modes that both games have in common. And then maybe after March 27th, you never know, Project BloodStrike could get a new update and they could add multiplayer. Then we could compare multiplayer as well. I don't really know. But I'm really hoping it's not going to completely void this entire video. I do hope you do enjoy this video because this gameplay that I have right here in Project BloodStrike, I am so proud of. I know I suck at this game and I'm nowhere near as good as so many other people, but like I think I'm getting a lot better, and this gameplay is super freaking intense. There's like non-stop action, and I guess that's the first thing we can talk about when we're comparing these two games here. Project BloodStrike and Combat Master are both insanely intense games. You are not playing PUBG Mobile, which I understand can be intense in certain circumstances, but like for an average player, you jump into PUBG Mobile, you could go minutes at a time without seeing a single player, okay? That is not the case in Project BloodStrike. If you really wanted to, you could go like less than 30 seconds and then have action, nonstop action, okay? This is one of the most intense Battle Royale games that's comparable to, you know, very few others that you have offered right now on iOS and Android devices. I also love the fact that in Project BloodStrike Battle Royale, you have the ability to respawn. Now, if you look at the top left of my screen, it does say cannot respawn during countdown, and you know, if I die in those 35 seconds, then that's it, that's game over. But after the 35 seconds are up, then if I die, then I can respawn. There's also self-revives and some other stuff like that, and I think that would be really cool additions to Combat Master Battle Royale. I'm hoping they add some sort of cool features like this and not just make it a standard boring Battle Royale that you have like every other game have, you know, just the same formula, 100 people fly over the map, shrinking circle, maybe special abilities if you're feeling special, but at least Project BloodStrike has some unique things that you don't really see with many other games, and that's why I think it's so popular right now. Now, I guess in terms of graphics here, we can see Project BloodStrike graphics are very, very good. I have max graphics turned on right now for this gameplay, and I mean, I honestly have no complaints. Maybe some people can say that it's a little bit boring just because it has sort of the same type of graphic style as many of the other NetEase games out there, but I don't see an issue with that because I never had an issue with Rules of Survival graphics when that game came out many years ago. I've never had an issue with games like Lost Lite graphics and Hyperfront graphics, so if they are kind of keeping the same similar style with a lot of things, then what's the issue here? You know, I don't see an issue, and I honestly love the graphic style. Combat Master Mobile's graphics are pretty much the same way. I really like their style. It's a bit of a different style, but, you know, if I had to choose between the two, I would maybe say that Project BloodStrikes are just a tiny bit better they feel a little bit crisper just when you look at them side by side, and you'll see that in the second half of this video. Combat Master has fantastic graphics, but I don't know. I just feel like I would have to choose Project BloodStrike over Combat Master just in terms of graphics. Now, in terms of gameplay and movement, I don't know if I would necessarily say that. And a bit later on, when you see Combat Master, you're going to see movement is wildly different from Project BloodStrike. They took a bit of a more safer approach with Project BloodStrike just by having some more standard movement that's like similar across the board with many other games that you play. You have tactical sprint, which is pretty cool. Not too many games have that. I mean, I could literally list off just a few games that have tactical sprint, and that's it. There's this game, Project BloodStrike. There's Combat Master. There's Warzone Mobile. There is Carnage Wars, which is like a low-end game that's kind of similar to Warzone. I made a video talking about games that are like Warzone, and that was on that list. And then there is the Roblox game Frontlines. And then I don't really think there's too many other games that have that tactical sprint. So, I mean, that's one similarity between these two games, but, you know, I guess since a decent amount of games have it at this point in time, they've kind of taken that more safe approach right here. There's a lot of other things that I love about Project BloodStrike. I love how good the weapons feel in this game, and if I were to give one praise to Project BloodStrike, I would say at long ranges, I think Project BloodStrike does a better job. It just feels like the recoil is more predictable, and it's just a little bit easier, to be honest. I don't think either game has any sort of bullet travel time at all, which is interesting. You know, a lot of games do have that. If you tried to play PUBG, for instance, and shot at somebody from 300 meters away, you're going to have to lead your shot. But I don't think in either of these games you have to do that, which means it's going to be easier for a beginning player. You literally just have to line up your crosshair, and that's basically it. Though, as I said, I think Project BloodStrike does a little bit of a better job. It just seems like it's more predictable and easier. The recoil is a bit stronger in Combat Master, which might actually be good for people because, you know, if you wanted a more intense and competitive game, maybe you'd go with that one because it's going to take longer to get used to the recoil at longer range. Which does beg the question, what the heck is Battle Royale going to be like in Combat Master? I know I did a video recently talking about Combat Master Battle Royale, talking about all the things that I wanted to see in it, and it's very interesting because, you know, if I'm going to say one of the weak points for Combat Master is longer ranged fights just feel a little bit clunky and weird, Battle Royale is going to be like, you know, a good portion only long-range fights. So what the heck is going on there? I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe literally in a couple of days when Combat Master Battle Royale might potentially come out. I don't know, man. I just love the whole look and feel of both of these games, though. And if you were to choose one or the other, it's entirely up to you. I don't really think you could go wrong choosing Project BloodStrike or Combat Master. I mean, I guess if you're more focused on just Battle Royale, you could go for Project BloodStrike because there's obviously no other game modes in this game right now aside from a training mode. But, like, I love the fact that Combat Master has so many other game modes, you know? Like, it just makes sense to have more game modes in a game because it feels like a more complete game in a sense, that it just has everything from Team Deathmatch to regular free-for-all to an arms race to their mini Battle Royale game mode. They literally have a mini Battle Royale game mode in Combat Master. You're going to actually see 2 matches of that later on, and I actually did very well in that. But I do have to say, at least in terms of this gameplay right here, things are about to get pretty interesting. I'm hitting my microphone, so I apologize for that. I'm about to die, and I'm gonna respawn. And this might actually be pretty close to the end of this match right here in Project BloodStrike. I know I didn't actually win in this match, but I got so many freaking kills that I just feel like it was so good to show this for this video because it really encapsulates just how much action you can get in Project BloodStrike. If you really want to be like a kill-hungry player and just constantly take every fight that you can, it is ridiculously sweaty and crazy, and yeah, there we go. I made a fatal mistake. I landed too close to that guy. I didn't give myself a chance to pick up a weapon, and game was over. But I didn't want to end the video without showing you guys a win in Project BloodStrike, so I'm just showing the last part of an earlier match that I recorded before that other one. It's a little bit less intense, but you get to see some sniper gameplay, some other stuff like that. Sniping feels really good in both of these games, and honestly, they are entirely different. Fully and completely. And I feel like a lot of people would prefer, you know, Project BloodStrike sniping over Combat Master sniping, but a lot of people would, you know, have the exact vice versa. Combat Master sniping is just a lot quicker. in my personal opinion. Like, you can do quick scopes from people at 3 feet away if you really wanted to in Combat Master, much easier than you can in Project BloodStrike. There's just overall, with a majority of the weapons, a slower aim down sight time, at least in my personal opinion. And for Project BloodStrike, it feels like all of the weapons just overall shoot a little bit slower, and they kill people a little bit slower. Not necessarily the sniper, just because, you know, if you hit the person in the head, it's a one-shot headshot. But that also could be because I haven't leveled up my my character enough in Project BloodStrike yet to really see, like, what some of the higher, more powerful weapons are. But I have picked up weapons, you know, from other players that are much higher level. Some custom AK-47s and other stuff like that. So, I mean, I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of how all the weapons work. You get shields, which, honestly, I feel like is pretty much a must in Combat Master. If there's no shields at all in that game when Battle Royale comes out, you're going to die too quickly. And that's actually something I'm a little bit worried about. So I'm hoping they do add some sort of shield to that game. Sort of makes sense just because, you know, it's sort of like a Modern Warfare Battle Royale type of game. I don't know. You're going to probably have the same relative-looking shield animation that you would have in Warzone Mobile, and that's basically that. So I killed that guy, and, you know, one really cool thing about Project BloodStrike is people can respawn, as I said. So you might think you ended the match like I did right there, but I didn't, and that guy got a chance to respawn. You also have self-respawns, which you might have seen earlier on when I died up by that, you know, mountaintop by the Sakura Valley. Yeah, you can literally self-revive, which is a really, really cool feature. Not too many games have this. But one other person remaining, 16 kills on the board. This guy is right around right here. We see him running to the left. He's trying to escape ExxotikGaming, and he doesn't. I get the kill. I'm feeling great, and that was Project BloodStrike. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to switch over to Combat Master. And to begin, I'm going to show you guys their mini Battle Royale game mode because, as I said, since I am pre-recording this video before Battle Royale comes out, this is the closest thing we have to Battle Royale. And I want to show you that there is a bit of a difference in gameplay between a Battle Royale styled game mode and like a generic arms race game mode. You're seeing this right here, and it seems a little bit slower paced than your average Combat Master match. And the reason is because in Combat Master mode, this mini Battle Royale, you have a limited amount of ammo, a very small amount of ammo, and unless you have a shotgun like I have right here, you probably can only kill 1 or 2 people before you run out of ammo completely. I was really lucky in this match in Train Yard because I actually got a shotgun, and that means I could literally just keep shooting person after person after person and never run out of bullets, or shells, I should say. But in Combat Master, you have to really conserve your bullets because you are going to burn through those bullets so freaking quickly with, like, every single weapon you have. I still, you know, am getting used to this type of thing in this game because I play matches in arms race, for instance, and then I just burn through all of my bullets, and then I have to literally wait for somebody else to kill me because I'm stuck. I don't have any ammo. And, hey, there we go. As you can see, it's an extremely fast-paced game mode, and that means it's perfect for anybody that's looking for something just, you know, really quick. You have a couple of minutes to spare, maybe before school, you finish your breakfast early, and you're just waiting for the bus, for instance. You can open up Combat Master, play a match or two in this mini Battle Royale mode, and that's basically it. I would really hope that the real version of Battle Royale for Combat Master is going to be something like this. It's not going to necessarily be something that has respawns like this, and it's not going to be in the same maps that we already have. But I hope the Battle Royale is going to be very fast-paced and shorter than the matches we have in Project BloodStrike. Because the matches in Project BloodStrike are around 20 minutes. And I just feel like maybe 10 would be good for a Combat Master Battle Royale. Everything is so fast-paced, it just seems like you would have very short matches. You know, you might have up to 40, 50 players, but it's just very small. So you have non-stop action, and it just makes a lot more sense. But as you can see a bit later on from this, you know, arms race game mode, things are very, very different from the Combat Master. You can switch between all of your weapons. Sniping is so much fun, as I said, in arms race in this game. And, you know, I'm not actually at the snipers yet, but in just a second you're going to see this. You can also get the minigun, which is a cool score streak if you can manage to get... I don't know how many kills it is. 7, 8, 9, something. I think it's probably like 8 or something like that. Let's just say 8. 7 or 8. And that's obviously probably the most powerful thing in this game. But as I was talking about earlier on, Movement is the wildest thing in Combat Master. You can literally spam your jump button and your sliding button as much as you want, and you can jump literally wherever you want. You could jump on top of the map of Train Yard very easily just by spamming the jump button enough times. Jump up on top of boxes, slide. Look at the sliding. Look at this movement. There is no other game with movement even close to this, you know. Warzone Mobile could dream to have movement like this just because it has that sliding and all that other type of stuff. But no, there's nothing quite like this. Nothing quite like this at all. And I do have to say, you know, with this ridiculous movements and the gunplay and stuff like that, yeah, Project BloodStrike does feel like Combat Master does feel like a bit of a clunkier game than Project BloodStrike, but not by much. Not by much. Like, you could play this and have a really, really nice time for hours. And honestly, this is one of the few games that I can play for hours and not really rage, you know? There's a lot of games that I play that I just get very, very annoyed at very quickly. And this is not one of those games. I can play this game for a very, very long time. Because also I can get first place a decent amount of times, unlike in Project BloodStrike. I'm just better at Combat Master in general. And I don't know. It's just an interesting thing to note. Another really good benefit of Combat Master that you're not going to get to see in this video, but I have talked about in the past, is the fact that Combat Master has offline mode. Project BloodStrike needs internet in order to run. You need to have an internet connection. If you try to open up the game in airplane mode, it is not going to work. Combat Master, on the other hand, will work perfectly on airplane mode. You could be flying in a plane at 30,000 feet with no internet at all, open up Combat Master, it's going to open you up right to the main menu, and you can play every game mode you want because you can just match up against bots and have a great time. And the best thing about this is the fact that the bots are like real players. They feel like real players because they are really, really good at the game. They've just customized the bots to the point where, like, they almost laser you, they instantly see you, and it's a very, very difficult experience going up against them. I almost would go as far to say that the bots are more difficult than a lot of the players that I encounter on a daily basis. Like, that guy right there, 100%, if it was a bot, they would have probably killed me because there was the other person there, I was shooting the other person first, and if that person ran around the corner, they would have instantly lasered me. So, you know, offline mode is a huge benefit to this. And I also am going to say that I think Combat Master Mobile is a bit more optimized for lower-end devices. So if you're watching this video and you have a pretty budget phone, you might have a more difficult time running Project BloodStrike than Combat Master. That might not necessarily always be the case, just because Project BloodStrike is made by NetEase. NetEase really heavily focuses on the optimization of all of their games. There aren't too many games made by NetEase that, you know, are not optimized at all. You know, I would think Lite is probably one of the hardest games to run. Hyperfront, if you're trying to run the regular one, is a little bit difficult, but that's why they made a Lite version of the game. And there's no telling that they might not add a Lite version of Project BloodStrike in the future. Right now, we're just in the testing phase. It's not a global release yet, and if Project BloodStrike is popular enough, then they could potentially have a regular version and a Lite version. So, you know, that's just speculation for the future. It's entirely possible. I don't necessarily know if that's going to happen, but it could be interesting, and then we could compare Combat Master versus Project BloodStrike Lite, and we could actually see then that probably Project BloodStrike Lite would be better in terms of the optimization type of thing. I love this Combat Master game mode, though. It's a really fun game mode, and sometimes I do like to play this one more than the regular arms race just because it's a bit less chaotic. Don't get me wrong, it's ridiculously chaotic. They're both insane, absolute insane chaos. You have no idea what's going on in Combat Master, and this is why I would go as far to say that Combat Master is probably one of the most difficult games to commentate for YouTube because the amount of action means it is just non-stop, you know? How are you supposed to make any sense of what's going on when you're doing a live commentary while playing this? Look at this match in Forest. It's like, what the heck is even going on? I have no idea, but it is so much fun. I love it, and I guess to wrap everything up, you know, both of these games are so much fun. You can't go wrong with either of them. I think both of these games have a very bright future. Project BloodStrike, it's a little bit more uncertain just because, you know, it's a more direct, just Warzone Mobile Lite type of game, and when Warzone Mobile comes out, who really knows? Combat Master, on the other hand, has a much safer future just because it has all of these other game modes like Arms Race and the Mini Battle Royale that you don't see in other games, and, you know, people just like Arms Race gun game in general, so I think this is going to be potentially the game that's going to last longer out of the two. I think in 2 years from now, if you happen to watch this video like in 2025, Combat Master will probably be in a better position than Project BloodStrike. But you can feel free to come back to this video in the future and prove me wrong if that's not the case. But that's basically it. That's my overall just kind of thoughts and opinions on Project BloodStrike versus Combat Master. I know it wasn't like the most proper comparison between these two games, but I'm not really good at that type of thing. And plus, I don't play these games enough to where I can nitpick at every little detail. I'm doing this from a more average player's perspective, and I think that's what the vast majority of people are. Most people are not like the ridiculous try-hard, grind the battle pass all the way out to completion, and then, you know, just have the most full experience in every single game, because that would be a little bit ridiculous. So, yeah, that's basically it. That's the end of the Combat Master gameplay, and this video is already going on for a pretty long time, so I think that basically wraps everything up. That's a average player's comparison between Project BloodStrike and Combat Master, and maybe after you hear everything I said and you saw the gameplay, you can have a better understanding of which game you like better. Comment down below which game you would prefer out of the two. But I hope you did enjoy. Leave a like, subscribe down below for more videos on both of these games, because I do videos on both of them, and I will see you all in the next episode.